If you watched my previous video, you know that we went on a 4-win streak in Diamond 1 in order to hit Master 5. Well, that win streak continued on in Master 5, going on another 5-win streak for a total of 9 wins in a row in order to hit Master 4. We're going to start off by taking a look at an insane match, probably one of my most insane matches to date, not just in Season 17, just I've ever played in total. Of course, we're using Floowandereeze. Decklist video will be linked in the description, but let's go ahead and get straight into this first match. So in this match, it was my rank up game, and it was also the opponent's rank up game to go from Master 5 to Master 4. We do lose the coin toss, so the opponent's going to go first, and they're on Spright. Best start in the game for Spright, Nimble Beaver into Angler, and then they also have Jet. So they go from the Nimble engine into Gigantic, and Gigantic doesn't need to go into the Spright engine, it can now go into the Swap Frog engine, which is exactly what they do, dump Ronin Totem. Oh no, they must have Ronin Totem in hand then, huh? Interesting. So they're going to go Elf here, Elf effect, to bring back the Frog. Now they're going to dump Ronin Totem. Okay, so they don't have it in hand. Weird that they dump double Frog first, or dump one Frog instead of Ronin Totem first. Regardless, yeah, they've got all their engine rolling, and the way the opponent sets up here is quite interesting. So they're opting to go for the Sprint, keeping it on board because it has the effect to detach a material from an Xyz monster to bounce a special summoned monster, which is normally pretty good. Thankfully, we don't special summon. Nonetheless, though, Sprint is going to extend further, dumping the second Angler, bringing out double Beaver, and then they're going to use the Beaver and the Jet to go into Masquerena. Now, they still have Starter that they brought off of the Jet. They're going to get Blue off that. Blue is going to grab them most likely Carrot because they want to protect against Evenly, Raigekis, etc. And they summon the Carrot. And then finally, they're going to be able to go into the final engine of their deck in the Melfi to grab Caddy off of the Forest here. And this board is absolutely insane. Plus a set card and 2 cards in hand. Absolutely nuts, right? If we take a second to break this down, they've got Sprint, Bounce, Interruption, Carrot, Spell, and Trap, Negate, that's 2. IP, Dynamic Disruption, either go into Avermax to protect your field from battle, or Unicorn to spin a card, right? So that's 3 interruptions. Caddy interruption, bring out Herald, bring out Herald or bring out the Melfi that bounces. That's 4 interruptions. If this card gets bounced before, the Sprint, well, yeah, and it doesn't even matter. Sprint doesn't remove this. If Carrot doesn't have to tribute this card, then to destroy, then this card also is a negate. That's 5 interruptions. Is this like an Imperm? That's 6 interruptions. They have a hand trap. That's 7 interruptions. Plus Elf for follow-up to get Blue back, right? Get Jet to hand. This is why Spright is so strong. It'll definitely fall off when Spright Elf gets banned, which it probably will. But right now, this is why Spright is almost one of the most unbeatable decks, in my opinion. When it goes first, it can just play through so much interruption, and if you don't have the interruption, you just deal with this. So to start off, we're going to actually Book of Moon the Carrot, either forcing them to negate to keep it face up, which is pointless, or flip it face down. And they're going to let it get flipped face down. That's fine. Because it wasn't under Elf, we are able to target it. Now we're going to be able to resolve our duality, and we get the card we need in the Dark Ruler. Now, on resolution, the opponent understands that as soon as I activate that Dark Ruler, they can't respond. So that's why they opt to go into IP, and they're linking up their field to free up space, because obviously I can't special summon, so the Sprint is useless because I use duality. So they're like, okay, get rid of the Sprint, get rid of the Melfi of the Forest, because I don't need to detach the Xyz material. My Carrot can't tribute now, so just keep the Caddy because it's the most dynamic interruption. And this allows me to also get Elf to bring back Blue to get follow-up for next turn. So smart on the opponent. They have an Avermax, that's hard to deal with, but they know it's going to get Dark Ruler, which means it's now going to be targetable. And the IP Masquerena effect, I'm pretty sure won't apply, making it indestructible. So this card can definitely be dealt with, beat over, targeted, or whatever, right? Elf is offline, making, not that it matters. And so now all we have to really worry about is hand trap and maybe whatever this face down card is. If it's an Imperm, we're in trouble. So we're going to activate Unexplored Winds. We're going to activate Map. And I just wanted to point something out before I move forward. The fact that Konami thought that they needed to limit EMPEN and Map to 1, the Floowandereeze engine you're going to see here can actually deal with boards, but Spright is pretty much at full power, and you want to limit these cards. I literally have to draw every piece in my hand and use every piece that I've drawn in order to break this board. If I didn't draw the one of Map and the one of EMPEN, what I'm about to do wouldn't be possible. And you're going to see this is insane what I'm about to do here. So we're going to activate Map, reveal Eaglin, of course, banish Robina, pretty standard stuff. Eaglin has to search for the Ryza here. Okay, it's very important. So again, hard drawing the EMPEN was really critical. Konami, can you bring EMPEN back to 2 or 3, please? We're going to use Unexplored Winds, bring out the EMPEN, tributing off the opponent's face down card because I didn't want to play into a Spright double cross. Okay, we're grabbing Advent of Adventure off of the EMPEN, very important. Continuing the summon, still have our normal summon for turn. We're going to normal summon Robina, Robina effect, and chain block it with the Eagle in here. So we're looking okay so far, which is pretty good. We grab Harpy Dancer off of the Robina. Now this is really important. Harpy Dancer effect to normal summon, that ends the continual summon, right? However, Harpy Dancer's effect allows me to bounce a wind monster and resummon it, and that does not use up my normal summon for turn. So we're going to bounce the EMPEN, use Unexplored Winds again, second summon of EMPEN in the turn, tributing off the Caddy and the Robina. On the chain link with the EMPEN, we're going to activate Advent of Adventure to banish the EMPEN and search for Toucan off of Advent, and then EMPEN can now search for Trap card. We're then going to continue the summoning the Toucan, targeting the EMPEN, and you already know what's coming. We're going to use Unexplored Winds again to tribute the EMPEN and the opponent's carrot to go into a third summon of EMPEN for the turn. Now, we still have our normal summon for turn, and this is really important here. Okay, now the EMPEN can just search for another Advent of Adventure in case we need follow-up, and now we go battle phase, preserving our normal summon for turn. We're going to beat over the blue with Dancer, and we're going to beat over the elf with EMPEN. Why didn't we beat over the Mech Knight Crusade yet? Well, because this card has an effect that says if this link summoned card, which it was link summoned, you control is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, you can shuffle one card on the field into the deck. Don't need to beat over it because it's targetable, and I can get it off the field back into the extra deck with the Ryza. That's why we brought Ryza to hand initially, right? Again, thinking this through from the beginning when we Dark Rulered, we're like, Dark Ruler, the next play is Ryza. We have to think through how many times we're going to summon EMPEN out the opponent's board, right? We don't want to send this to graveyard and give the opponent a free spin. So main phase 2, tribute EMPEN, go for Ryza here. Ryza is going to spin back the Avermax and stack a dead card in that crossout designator on top of the opponent's deck. Again, I want to point out this guy opened perfect full combo with a crossout in case, he was going up against a Maxi or something, right? Or an Ash Blossom or an Imperm or something like that. And he probably had a Maxi in hand, to be honest. Like, it's absolutely crazy. We know one of his cards are Jet. We know he's going to draw into crossout, so that means he's left with playing with 2 cards, and he needs to get a level 2 on board to really extend with Jet. Our setup here off Trap card with these power spells in rotation, you already know if you watch my previous videos from other seasons how strong this 3-card setup is with Floowandereeze. It was a tough board break, but the opponent here is going to attempt to continue to play. Going to battle phase, okay, that's fine. I'm going to set up Apex anyways, not a big deal, because you either have a starter in hand or you're going to be forced to normal summon, which will trigger map anyways. And at this point, I have 3 birds in rotation. I already got my Dancer on field. The Robina is going to search for the final piece of the puzzle, and you already know that is Stree. And then when it comes to the normal summon, I'm going to be able to Stree, banish the EMPEN, Toucan, bring it back, and then bring out the EMPEN if I need to, right, off of Unexplored Winds, outing another resource, plus banishing Trap card to flip the cards face down. So we're going to just put up the Apex here. The opponent normal summons Penny, we trigger map, and you already know what I just said is going to happen here. We're going to go through the motions, and then I think the opponent realizes, yep, you got too much gas, you've got your engine rolling, you broke my board, that's a GG. One of the most insane games I've played to date. So this is our first match of Master 5 after going on a 5-win streak and Diamond 1 to hit Master rank. We go second, losing the coin toss. The opponent reveals that they are on Swordsoul. So they reveal Emergence with Mo Ye, and then obviously they're going to go into Chi Sao, get the draw and the search. Let's see what they end up searching though. So they draw, they search Long Yang, okay, classic. Then oddly enough, like, this is a misplay, but it actually is worse for us. Like, the opponent misplaying actually hurts us more than them playing the correct way. So instead of emergencing for Protos, they're going to Desires, which could banish the Protos, which I guess it does because they search for Taya off the Emergence. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe that actually hurt me that they misplayed. Because, obviously Floowandereeze doesn't care about Protos because we don't special summon. But they had a tactic in mind, I guess. So they're going to Long Yang and then Sacred Summit for Taya. And Taya is going to be able to generate another token here. So they're going to get 3 Synchro Summons off. They, for some reason, go for the Long Yang Synchro and then burn me for 12. And then go into Dragite. So they've got Spell and Trap Negate, Monster Negate. The Long Yang will not actually draw because it says when you Synchro Summon another worm monster. And this is not a worm. So yeah, they've got to Spell and Trap, and a Monster Banish. So double banish, Spell and Trap, negate, Monster negate, 2 face down cards, and probably a hand trap that we have to play through. Our opening hand, you know, double pot cards. Okay, we draw the... You want to either draw like Prosperity and Duality or Extravagance and Duality. You don't really want to draw Extravagance and Prosperity in the same hand. So no Ash check, no Ash there. The opponent opts not to negate with the Risen. We're going to activate the second pot card. They're going to opt to just banish it for damage, I guess, which is fine. We reveal the Dark Ruler, which is great. We grab Dark Ruler here, and you already know it's going to be dropped, so we completely play around the Chisao and the Dragite. Well, I don't know why the opponent activates Max C, because the Duality already locked us out of special summoning, but sure. The Dark Ruler hits, and then we're going to Gold Sark for a Robina, and the opponent ends up scooping it up right there for some reason. I mean, we weren't breaking that entire board, plus the opponent had back row, but this is a perfect example of why I don't like playing other decks right now, is because the opponent goes first, sets up full combo, then they also have Max C. If I'm playing Spright, which I think is like one of the better decks, like I can't play through the Max C. And they have negates. If I had, you know, if they went for Baron like they were supposed to, if I Ash the Maxi, they Baron negate. If I call by the Maxi, they Dragite negate, right? Like, I can't play through the Maxi. So it's just kind of annoying. And that's why I like Floowandereeze. And thankfully enough, I mean, we were able to take that one. So yeah, on to the next one, I guess. Like, despite me winning these matches, I'm just still so frustrated at the state of the game. And I think that's how a lot of players are feeling. Especially on like Master Duel meta, when you read comments about people posting like their deck lists, they're like, oh, this format was so frustrating, or oh, it takes so much time to get through Message, or I'm so tilted. And it's just like, I understand like the way that it's just really weird. I don't know, Konami. I mean, I'm personally frustrated at the one EMPEN. I think everybody who watches my videos is pretty aware of that by now. I don't think that hit was necessarily warranted, other than the fact that Floowandereeze counters the decks that are in the shop right now, like the Bestial deck and the Tier Elements that people built, which is, you know, the game had its like best financial quarter. So it is what it is. I know I'm not really commentating this last match, but it's pretty self-explanatory. The opponent bricked. We were able to play, but we were stopped by Ash. We play around the evenly matched a little bit, opting to keep the Unexplored Winds, which is risky. We probably are better off keeping the Book of Moon, because, you know, if we can book the opponent's monster and stop their play, let's say if they're on Spright, that could save us. If they're able to play through a Book of Moon, though, having the Unexplored Winds would be better, because that helps us out the opponent's board. Nonetheless, though, if the opponent set up any kind of negates, we would be done for. Thankfully, they do brick, and we are able to go full combo here, which is what this looks like now. It's one EMPEN, because you can't really do much more than that. I really hope on the next ban list Konami unlimits the EMPEN. I doubt they will, but you know, I guess I can hope. I don't know. I might take a break from this game, just because it is kind of frustrating. You know, again, that last match with Swordsoul, I'm not playing another deck when the opponent goes first, combos, is protected by Max C. Like, I'm just scooping. Like, why am I sitting there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, watching the opponent set up a combo just to scoop? Like, this is why people are resigning as soon as the game starts if they go second. Like, they see you what deck you're on. If they don't have the perfect hand to counter it, they just scoop. And I think that's where the frustration lies in the game. But let me know what you think of the format. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you've made it this far, thank you. And I'm sorry if I sound salty, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to the last 3 days of the event trying to grind through Master with a limited Floowandereeze deck.